Swear to God, Iowa, you sons of bitches better get your shit together. Iowa, you better vote for Bernie Sanders. Jesus Christ. Why do we put it all in Iowa? God, Iowa? What the hell's in Iowa? It's like Kansas, right? Only Kansas is like Iowa. I guess there's Des Moines, right? Isn't that the capital? Iowa. We're going to put it all in Iowa to pick Bernie Sanders. God. So, Bernie Sanders, greatest American human being ever to have graced our earth. He's banning all the right-to-work laws in the U.S. He is in favor of unions and people's right to organize. So all right-to-work laws are going to be banned and actual union protections are going to be upheld. He's not for decriminalizing illegally crossing the border. So some people are talking about decriminalizing crossing the border. He is not in favor. He's for decriminalization of asylum seekers, but not for anybody who just wants to hop the border. Bernie Sanders isn't for reparations for black folks. He is for Sheila Jackson's Reparations Commission. So they want to form a commission and see where they could go from there. Marianne Williamson has no plan. She's probably the one that's most sincere in getting reparations, but she's going to use the argument saying universal health care is going to be an issue that's too hard to beat Trump, and yet she's pushing for reparations. But the Andrew Yang's universal basic income and you have Cory Booker's baby bonds, these are better. These are race-neutral programs which help black people more, just because there's more poor black folks. So, but these programs that help poor folks, Cory Booker's baby bonds and Andrew Yang's universal basic income. Bernie Sanders has a ton of stuff too, but it's, free health care and college and child care and, stuff like that. It's not a check. So Evo Morales, he's the president of Bolivia. He's been the president since 2005. So he's been president for 13, 14 years. He's running in a re-election this year, October 20th. He's up for re-election. He's a president of a major country in South America, the country right in the middle, Bolivia. So he's the president of Bolivia, and he's a socialist. He's a member of the movement towards socialism. So that's democratic socialism. That's democracy voting for a socialist president. And GDP is rising and growing even faster in Bolivia than in the United States. So Evo Morales has cut poverty in half from like 80% to 40% and done a whole bunch of shit. So there are, people say, well, there's never been a democratic socialist president. There's been lots of democratic socialist presidents. I think the Scandinavian countries are fair when it comes to Bernie Sanders. He always points out Norway, Sweden, Germany, Denmark, and Finland, those countries. So France, Italy, he points out that they have welfare states, that they spend money for taking care of their infants and, for child care, family leave, health care, college. He also talks about affordable housing, how they work on affordable housing, and they have virtually abolished poverty. So Bernie Sanders, in a roundabout way, eventually gets there. Now, I've actually heard this argument, so he has accomplished some things, and recently, okay? So if you went throughout his history, I'm sure you could be able to find some more things. He was the mayor of Burlington, so I'm sure he did something. He had to pass a bill or two when he was mayor of Burlington. But recently, what has Bernie Sanders done for us lately? He pressured Amazon to raise their wages. I think they're paying $15 an hour now. Amazon's paying their workers $15 an hour. That's a good job. Pressured Walmart to, change their ways. Hasn't worked yet. He condemned Saudi Arabia, sponsored a resolution to end the Yemen war. He's got a no money bail act, so I guess he's trying to get bails, something about bails abolished. Federal job guarantee. He's changed the entire debate in the Democratic Party around Medicare for all, and he once saved a woman from being hit by a car. So there's a couple recent things that he's done, but he's been, on the right side of history. So he's been our heartbeat. He's been the heartbeat of America for 70 years. That's not good enough. That's not big enough to be a national treasure. So dear Bernie Bros, you got 25 candidates, neoliberals all over the place. Joe Biden, John Delaney, what the hell are they doing there? Where did they come from? These are just the industry. People are just The healthcare industry's picking their own candidates now. So there's a lot of progressives. Kamala's a progressive, and so is Elizabeth Warren. If Bernie and Elizabeth Warren can be best friends, then how come I can't say nothing good about Elizabeth? Elizabeth Warren co-sponsored this Medicare for All bill, and so did several of the Kirsten Gillibrand, and Kamala Harris, and Cory Booker. So Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Kamala Harris all stood by Bernie Sanders with this, big Medicare for America that's going to overhaul the entire Medicare system. So you have Tulsi Gabbard, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg. You got Jay Inslee's good on some things. Marianne Williamson's, she needs to be in the debate, but if she wants to be serious, she needs to get some plans. And she needs to be in favor of Medicare for All, too. But you got just a handful of progressives. They're not Bernie. Bernie outshines all the rest. But to sit there and criticize Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris as if they're the devil, they're the worst pieces of shit that's ever... These people aren't Hillary. They are not Hillary. Hillary was the devil. That was the correct argument then. But these folks are not the devil. I think the reason why Kamala Harris gets hit so much, and Elizabeth Warren, and any of the other, Tulsi for different reasons, actually, because she was with Bernie, so, she kind of gets a bye, but she's got some issues. She's not totally progressive, but she's got a lot of progressive issues, too, so I would say she's the number 2 progressive, right there with Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren's probably more sophisticated, more mature, probably has thought through a lot more ideas, but Tulsi Gabbard, she stuck by Bernie in 2016, so it's hard to give her, to give up on that. But compared to Bernie Sanders, they all pale in comparison. There is no comparison. So by criticizing these progressive lights, these weak progressives, these, not socialists, these anti-socialists, so you're going to sit there and criticize these anti-socialists as if, what, you're going to try to get all the people that like Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris to hate them? We don't need them to hate the other candidates. What we need is for them to vote for Bernie Sanders. So I think it would be better to be nuanced to say, well, okay, Kamala Harris, when it comes to, she, didn't execute a man who had murdered a police officer. She had a lot of public pressure to execute this man who had killed a police officer. She's opposed to the death penalty, and she didn't do it. So she showed some courage, in that phase. So there's actually, I'm going to have a list of things about Kamala at the very end. It's a little treat. So, dear Bernie brothers, we're the angels of the revolution, so fucking act like it. Fucking act like it. Jesus fucking Christ, we're the angels of the revolution. So, all the criticisms are right. I'm not saying that. They have neoliberal ideas, but they also have, just a whole chock full of progressive ideas, too. So don't throw the progressives out with the neoliberal bathwater. Get rid of your John Delaney's. And Hickenlooper was actually pretty decent on police accountability. He got civilian police review boards, and that was the big thing. See, he did a couple other things too, but he got oversight of the police when he was mayor. So Hickenlooper had that one good idea, but then he's like talking all this shit about socialism, and it's just so myopic. It's like they don't understand, American politics. We're a mixed... I feel like I just keep saying the same shit over and over again. We're a fucking capitalist, socialist system. We have public schools, Social Security, public roads, and all this other shit. So we have lots of public welfare, lots of big welfare state, right? It's a patchwork, but it's there. And so, not everybody gets to benefit from public schools. Not everybody benefits from, the police and fire department. So anyways... BernieCare is going to replace and repeal. They're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. BernieCare is actually going to do what Trump couldn't do. BernieCare is actually going to repeal and replace Obamacare. So that's pretty amazing. That's pretty interesting. The Republicans are going to jump on board now, right? No, that he's repealing Obamacare. BernieCare repeals Obamacare. So this is all about Bernie's Medicare for All bill in detail. For as much as there's one article that was just too detailed. They're just using all these, shorthands, and I was kind of like, what in the hell are they talking about? But for, this is good enough for me and the rest of the world, I hope. For now. So what he's going to do is he's going to get a single national health insurance program for all U.S. residents. So all Americans are going to get on this one national health care program. This is Medicare for All Act of 2019. Bernie Sanders introduced it. It's Senate Bill 1129. 1129. It's 100 pages. There's 16 total co-sponsors so far. So this is amazing. 16 total co-sponsors. I don't think he had any 2 years ago. Now he's got 16 people that's, got his back, including Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and Cory Booker. So Elizabeth Warren, Kamala, and Kirsten, and Cory's going to stand by Bernie Sanders and his signature. But the people, that like Bernie say that we're supposed to hate these people, Bernie's friends with them. So Bernie could be friends with Elizabeth Warren, but none of his supporters and nobody else in the whole world could be. Give me a fucking break. Bernie's going to work with other progressives because they have, a lot of progressive ideas that they agree with. Therefore, they can spearhead, anything that Bernie supports that they agree with, and they could join forces. So to sit there and, throw the progressives out with the neoliberal bathwater, I just find it to be, it's a dumb tactic. Okay, so we'll get to it when it gets to Kamala Harris. Joe Biden, he's saying some dumb shit because, that's what Joe Biden does, just gaffe after gaffe. What the fuck is a Joe Biden? Joe Biden, Jesus. He said BernieCare is going to destroy Medicare. He said all of Medicare is going to be gone. Well, in a way that's the old Medicare system is going to be gone, but then it's an overhaul. So BernieCare overhauls the Medicare system, which includes repealing and replacing Obamacare, but it's still the Medicare system. It's called Medicare for All. So all he is doing is just incorporating the current Medicare system into his bigger Medicare for All system. So it's still the Medicare system. It's not going to be gone. Joe Biden is just trying to scare the shit out of old people. He's just trying to scare the shit out of old people that don't know better, see the clip on TV, and they're like, what? Bernie's going to take away my health care? Bernie is giving universal health care. He's not taking away anybody's health care. It's an absurd insinuation. It's absolute. It just shows you how dirty Joe Biden is. He's lying about this shit just to, scare a bunch of old people into running towards him. And that's just Obamacare with a public option. So he could have got us a public option, 12 years ago? So even though Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker all have co-sponsored this bill along with Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders' bill has some heavy hitters. He's got Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker. Those, I think we should give them credit for that. They're willing to stand, next to our guy for his stuff. So I don't see why we shouldn't stand up for their progressive stuff. If people are just afraid that they're progressive, so therefore they threaten Bernie Sanders' campaign, well, you're being insecure. Bernie Sanders shines better than the rest. Kamala Harris, she does have all that money that's backing her, but none of these are Hillary Clintons. None of these are Hillary Clintons. The devil, a piece of crap, a psychopath, a terrorist, just an absolute awful person with awful policies. A neoliberal through and through, a Joe Biden. So Joe Biden's a piece of shit, right? But, Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg, back off, you guys. Jesus Christ. He's 37 years old, and you're acting like, oh, my God, he's destroyed the whole country. No, he didn't, nor did Kamala, nor did Booker, nor did Elizabeth Warren. Okay? It's almost like they reserve their hatred for them and not the people destroying the country. Anyways, Cory Booker seems to be for a public option on Obamacare. So while they signed onto this, they're co-sponsors of it. So I think that's smart. I think it's smart to ride on Bernie's wagon. Hitch your star on a Bernie's wagon. And I think that's a good idea. So Kamala Harris, she said that she was for a mixed system, said that private insurance would be phased out over time. Cory Booker said that he would be in favor of a public option on Obamacare. So again, a mixed private-public system, so not abolishing private health insurance. Elizabeth Warren, she's a staunch supporter of Bernie's plan. That doesn't win any Bernie bros over. Elizabeth Warren is a staunch supporter of Bernie Sanders' plan. My God, if she could see a good idea, how come, these Bernie fucking bro assholes can't see a good idea? A good idea is a good idea no matter who says it. Elizabeth Warren talks about no first-use policy when it comes to nuclear weapons. No first use. China's been doing it since 1964. That's a good idea. Her 2% wealth tax is a good idea, or her 2-cent wealth tax. That's a great idea. Some of the, how much money could that generate? So, do you not listen to evidence? Do you not look at evidence and then change your mind? You know, I've gone back and forth. I hated Kamala, and then I liked Kamala, and now I'm back, you know, I'm on 50-50 with Kamala. But she has a lot of great progressive things, so why would you be so naive and stupid? Jesus, Bernie bros, fucking dicks. It's almost like the Bernie bros are trying to be such dicks to each other. They're trying to you know, Bernie. Who loves Bernie the most? And the way you show how much you love Bernie is by just shitting on everybody else. So the criticisms that they point out are correct, but it's not the whole picture. So if you actually listed all the planks to the platform and then you said, okay, I've looked at everything she's about and I am against it. You haven't done that. You haven't done that. You picked Bernie, and you think that she's a competitor, so you're scared, you're threatened by her, and you're showing your fucking ass. You're showing how insecure you are. That's not a good look. It's not a good look for you. It's not a good look for Bernie. So I think, you know, John Delaney, the neoliberals, shit on them all day long. Criticize Kamala, criticize, you know, Elizabeth and Corey and Kirsten and whoever, especially for their neoliberal ideas. But their progressive ideas, champion those. I'm trying, you know, this is a campaign of ideas here. We got 6 more months of this shit. So for the next 6 months, you're just going to tell me that Elizabeth Warren's the devil when, you know, compared to all the politicians on the, you know, American political landscape, who else is there besides Elizabeth Warren, AOC, Bernie Sanders? Who else? Who else is there on the she's like one of the few great progressives that's been great for fucking years. So she's an important person. She's got a lot of progressive ideas, and I bet you're going to see a lot of these progressives in Bernie Sanders' cabinet, in his executive cabinet, running the world. So I think Julian Castro would be good for immigration. Jay Inslee would be good for the EPA. Tulsi would probably be good for the defense secretary. And, you know, go on down the line. So, you know, Cory Booker could do maybe the Attorney General or something. I don't know. But I'm saying that if Elizabeth Warren is Bernie Sanders' Secretary of State, are you going to disavow Bernie Sanders because you told me to hate her, and now he's going to cozy up with her and be best friends with her? Get the fuck out of here. I think when people see anybody, you know, say anything good about any of the other candidates, they automatically get scared, and they have to say, well, so I don't care. I don't care how good they are and how many good progressive ideas they have. Why don't you care? You don't give a shit about the future of this country? You don't give a shit about who's going to work with Bernie Sanders and then who's got the good progressive ideas? If you can make those connections, right, both Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala Harris are pro-choice, so they could work together, you know, for pro-choice issues. So that's, you know, that to make those connections, and then you could put these people together, and then we could just, you know, create a brand new, beautiful society. One where we work together, and we're nice. So, okay. So Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan is a massive takeover of the healthcare industry. Some people said that it's 1/5 of the economy. If healthcare is 1/5 of our economy sucks because there's people that's sick and not getting taken care of, and it's 1/5 of the economy. It's 1/5 of the economy, and we're not even taking care of everybody. Jesus, fuck. So, $3.5 trillion industry. So, a lot of money that's in it. 27 million Americans aren't insured. So, you know, great job, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Good job, Anthem. Nice job. Great. You just, absolute bang-up job. Only Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and de Blasio had said that they were in favor of abolishing private prisons or private insurance. The private prisons, a couple of people, Pete Buttigieg wants to, you know, destroy the private prison industrial complex. So does Elizabeth Warren. And so does Bernie Sanders. So they all can work together, dismantle the private prison industry. Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, and Bernie all together. Cory Booker would want to be part of that too. So do you want to abolish the private prison industry, or do you just want to, you know, it's crazy to me because I'm voting for Bernie Sanders, and these Bernie bros have pissed me off so much. I'm like, God damn these sons of bitches. I'm voting for Bernie. So what the fuck are you trying to piss me the fuck? You've already won me over. You've already got this sale. So the only thing you could do now is fuck it up. You can only fuck it up by saying, well, what do you know, just keep probing and arguing and being a dick until what's the point? I don't have to hate Elizabeth and Kamala to vote for Bernie. I'm going to vote for Bernie, but I like these because I think that they're more progressive than neoliberal. And I've looked into it. I looked into them, you know, pretty extensively. There's some I haven't. Jay Inslee, I was started to, but I never really got into it. And Cory Booker, I haven't even looked into Cory Booker. But he's, for a long-ass time, he's been fighting for progressive issues, street fight. He was the mayor of Newark, progressive guy. So he's been doing, progressive shit for quite some time. Is he neoliberal? Is he progressive? I'd say he's in between. So where does he fall? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. So this whole BernieCare is 100 pages long, so it goes on and on. 100 pages. I think Obamacare was like 2,000 pages. 156 million Americans are going to be kicked off their health insurance. Their private health care, but they're going to be put on the state health care. This is one big government program where all 327 million Americans are going to join and jump in, and we're all going to be worried about each other's health, and we're going to be concerned if we're sick or not, because, health is life. So we're actually going to give a shit for each other. This is going to take 4 years to phase in, so it's not going to be immediate, just take over the health insurance industry. He's actually got, the different ages. So the age of eligibility of Medicare, so it's, I think, 65 to get on Medicare, but he says the first year they're going to lower the age to 55, and then anybody that's under 19 enrolled, they'll get enrolled in the first year, second year, lower it to 45, third year, lower it to 35, and then the fourth year, get everybody covered, I guess, from 20 to 35, get that last decade covered. So that's how he's going to implement his Medicare for America plan. So, the first year, everybody gets the same thing, except for, now all the kids under 29, or everybody that's under 19 years of age, so all the minors, and then 55 years of age. 55 is the lower, they're going to lower the age requirement down to 55. So that's what they're going to do the first year. So it's going to take 4 years to phase in. He's going to roll this out over a period of 4 years. He gets elected, he gets this thing passed, and then the fourth year, in the end, of his term, is when everybody's going to get covered. So that's the plan, okay? That's just how this bill's been written up. He wrote the damn bill, right? He wrote the damn bill. So, yeah, there is some, myth. Oh, no, nobody's going to lose their health coverage because everybody's getting health insurance. That's the whole fucking point of this. Medicare for all means everybody gets health care. So your private health insurance is you're going to get kicked off your private health insurance and your public health insurance. There's different programs like Medicaid, which is the states provide Medicaid, and then CHIP. There's a CHIP program that's also provided. I don't know who that's. I think it's a federal government thing, but that's 73 million Americans that's on government health care now. So we have government health care. 73 million Americans are on government health care, but the CHIP and the Medicaid program is going to get, essentially just like the private insurance, phased out. Actually, the private insurance is totally banned except for cosmetic surgery. So if private insurance wants to cover cosmetic surgery, then they can. That's, private insurance can cover they don't usually cover that anyways. So most private insurance companies are going to be outlawed and just, completely gone. Medicaid and CHIP, these are going to be, I guess, grandfathered in or phased in. So nobody's going to lose their health care. This is about providing health care for everybody. So even though people are like, 170 million are going to get kicked off their private insurance, they love their premiums. You can take my premiums out of my cold, dead hand. Right? They love their deductibles and their co-pays. The private insurance industry, they want to protect those bastards. We got to go hurry up and protect those poor people. They got jobs and families too. Yeah, well, so does the rest of us. And 27 million Americans don't even have insurance. So great fucking job, this for-profit insurance company. Man, the bang-up job. Great job. Only 27 million? I think there's like an echo. Anyways, okay. So what does BernieCare do? BernieCare expands Medicare coverage substantially. It includes primary and preventive care, inpatient, outpatient care, ambulance care, mental health, substance abuse treatment, emergency services, newborn, long-term care, hospital stays, prescription drugs, medical devices, biologics, laboratory diagnostic services, reproductive, maternity, newborn care, pediatrics, short-term rehab, and dental and vision care and hearing, and community and home-based long-term care. So that's, God, there's dental, vision, hearing. This is offering more than your gold standard private health care plans. Long-term care, newborn care. They have reproductive care, maternity care, newborn care, hospital stays, prescription drugs, primary and preventive care, inpatient, outpatient, ambulance care, mental health, substance abuse treatment, emergency services. Just goes on, does it not? There's a March 2019 poll that said 56% of Americans want single-payer government system. 39% said they oppose it. The majority of Americans want a single-payer government system. The majority, 56%. This is March 2019, just 4 months ago or so. So 39% opposed it, 56% are in favor of it. So that's some background information. Most private insurance companies already mentioned that. There's also the Federal Employees Health Benefits Program, TRICARE, and the ACA marketplaces. So this is Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, the marketplaces, these exchanges that they had created. Those are going to be, those are going to be ended too, along with TRICARE, Medicaid, CHIP, Federal Employees Health Benefits Program. So a lot of government programs are going to be eliminated that offer health care, and a lot of all of them, all of the government health care programs now are going to go into BernieCare, and then all the private insurance companies are going to go into BernieCare. So it's all going to be BernieCare, all of it. So, my God, why do we have so many TRICARE, ACA, federal employees, Medicaid, CHIP? It makes sense to just put all this shit together anyways. The Department of Veterans Affairs would remain intact, so I guess for VA care. So the Department of Veterans Affairs is still, I guess the health care, it's still the exact same. I don't know if they phase in or out. I don't know what's going on with that. But the Department of Veterans Affairs still remains intact under Obamacare. So he's going to lower the age of the eligibility. I already explained that. Employers can buy a public plan for their employees during the years of transition. So, okay, Bernie Sanders gets elected. Not everybody's going to have health care. Not everybody's going to have health care until 4 years later. So the first year, you're going to get all the kids, and then you're going to get all those who are 55 years of age and over, and then the next year, 45 years of age, and then the next year, 35 years of age, and then everybody. During that time period, you're going to have a lot of people that's not going to be covered. So the employers can buy a public plan for those employees who are not part of the, universal Medicare for all plan. He's going to do it over 4 years. There's a logic to it, so I'm okay with that. It could be an orderly, it can be unraveled in an orderly fashion. So how are we going to pay for this? My God, this is going to be, just free health care, 1/5, $3.5 trillion industry, right? $3.5 trillion. So how much is that over 10 years? I guess that's $35 trillion. My God, $35 trillion. Isn't that the private health care industry generates $35 trillion for somebody? Somebody's making this money. Now, who's going to pay for this? Well, everybody's going to pay for this. So the payroll tax, there's going to be a 7.5% payroll tax. So the working class people are going to pay, almost 8% more on their checks. 8% is going to be taken away. This is just some suggestions. This is suggestions. They have a whole array of suggestions. They haven't really nailed down exactly how we're going to pay for it. You probably could cut, the military budget. Maybe invest in Bitcoin. There's lots of ways, actually. I can't, okay. Why couldn't you tie the profits of McDonald's or, Walmart to it? So just, nationalize Walmart, nationalize Facebook, and nationalize Bitcoin, and that'll be enough money to pay for it. So this is just the beginning of a dynamic conversation, okay? So who's going to pay for it? You also got a 4% individual income tax. So middle class, poor people, everybody's taxes are going to get raised in order to get some BernieCare. Now, if you take all these measures and you put them together, it actually doesn't even add up to what they're saying it's going to cost. It generates $16 trillion. So the 7.5% payroll tax and the 4% individual income tax are for the people. Now there's a whole bunch of taxes on the wealthy too. These are just proposed taxes, so none of this is set in stone. They had a separate addendum, and they said, okay, here's some possible ways we could pay for this. Now they're going to hike the marginal tax rate up to 90%. Right now it's at 37%. It was at 91% during Eisenhower's administration. So instead of it being 91%, he's going to lower it to 70%, if you think of it from Eisenhower till now. So Bernie Sanders is going to, it's low. Sorry, that was a joke there. But marginal tax rate is going to be raised up to 70% on people who make $10 million or more. That's what a marginal tax rate is, just the people at the top. So the people at the top, how much are they going to get taxed? If you make $10 million or more, then you're going to pay 70% on everything you make over $10 million. He's also thinking about raising the estate tax. They took away the estate